If your feet tingle at night, if your toes go numb during the day, if you experience burning, stabbing, or electric sensations that seem to arrive without any warning or identifiable cause, stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I am about to share may finally explain why neuropathy tends to worsen after 60, and more importantly, how the right movement applied consistently can help protect irritated and struggling nerves before additional damage has the opportunity to accumulate. This is not about medication. This is not about suppressing or masking pain. This is about using deliberate and targeted movement to actively support nerve health while the window to make a meaningful difference is still open. By the end of this video, you will understand why so many women over 60 unknowingly make their neuropathy worse every single day without realizing it. You will understand why walking alone is frequently insufficient to address the underlying circulatory problem. And you will know the one simple exercise that specialists most consistently recommend for improving blood delivery to damaged peripheral nerve tissue. Before we begin, I want to ask you one question. Do you currently experience numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet or hands? And were you ever told by a physician that nerve damage simply cannot be reversed? Write your answer in the comments. I read every single one personally. Now let us begin with the first movement, because this is the one most people skip, and that skipping is quietly making things worse. Number 5, ankle pumps. This exercise appears almost too simple to justify serious attention, but there is a specific and well-established reason it belongs on this list, particularly for women navigating neuropathy after 60. Here is something most people are never told about their own peripheral nervous system. Your nerves are living tissue. Exactly like your muscles and your organs, they depend on a steady and uninterrupted supply of blood flow to function and survive. Every individual nerve fiber relies on tiny surrounding blood vessels to deliver the oxygen and nutrients it requires. When that blood flow slows, even gradually and modestly, nerves begin to struggle. They begin to misfire. They begin generating the very sensations you are already experiencing. After the age of 60, circulation to the lower legs naturally and progressively declines. Extended periods of sitting, reduced daily movement, and progressively weaker calf muscle contractions allow blood to settle and pool in the feet and lower legs. When that pooling occurs, nerves receive consistently less oxygen through every hour of the day. That oxygen deficit is the precise physiological moment when symptoms emerge. The tingling, the burning, the electric sensations that seem to come from nowhere. And if circulation remains inadequate without any intervention, numbness can develop as nerve tissue becomes increasingly compromised over time. Ankle pumps address this problem directly and specifically. When your feet remain completely still, blood pools under the persistent influence of gravity. Pressure builds within the lower leg vasculature. Circulation to the surrounding nerve tissue slows further. Ankle pumps interrupt this cycle. When you pull your toes upward toward your body and then point them away, your calf muscles contract and release in a controlled, steady rhythm. That alternating muscular action gently compresses the deep veins of the lower leg and drives blood upward back toward the heart. The improved circulation this generates helps deliver oxygen to nerve tissue that has been operating under chronic blood flow deficit. This is precisely why ankle pumps appear in circulation improvement protocols referenced by organizations including the National Institutes of Health. To perform them correctly, sit comfortably in a chair or lie with your legs gently extended. Slowly pull your toes upward toward your shins, then point them away from you. The movement should be smooth, controlled, and unhurried throughout. Begin with 15 to 20 repetitions per foot. These can be performed multiple times throughout the day, particularly following extended periods of sitting. Their effectiveness derives entirely from repetition and consistency rather than from speed or intensity. Research summarized by the Mayo Clinic demonstrates that frequent low-intensity ankle movements help measurably reduce blood pooling and support healthier lower limb circulation in older adults. And when circulation improves, nerves receive the sustained support they need in ways that medication alone cannot fully replicate. This is why ankle pumps earn their place on this list. And it is also precisely why walking alone so frequently proves insufficient. If you want the relief to be lasting, do not skip the next movement. Number 4, calf raises. This exercise appears straightforward. But when it comes to generating meaningful circulation to damaged peripheral nerves, the calf muscle pump is physiologically critical in a way that is rarely communicated clearly. Your calf muscles function as a secondary heart. Every contraction compresses the deep venous system of the legs and drives blood upward against the constant force of gravity. When this pump weakens, through age, through inactivity, through accumulated hours of sitting, blood progressively pools in the lower legs. Circulation to the tissue surrounding those pooled areas, including the peripheral nerves running through them, declines dramatically. This creates the precise physiological conditions in which neuropathy continues worsening without meaningful resistance. To perform calf raises, stand behind a chair or position yourself near a wall for reliable balance support. Keep your feet approximately hip-width apart. Slowly rise onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as is comfortably possible. Pause briefly at the top. Then lower your heels slowly and under complete control back to the floor. That controlled and deliberate lowering phase is particularly important. It increases the degree of muscular engagement and generates more effective blood movement than rapid repetitions ever produce. Begin with 10 repetitions and allow adequate rest between sets. Over time, build toward 2 to 3 sets as your strength and physical tolerance develop. A 2023 study examining consistent calf strengthening found that it increased blood flow to peripheral nerve tissue by 34% within 8 weeks of regular practice. Participants in that study reported measurable reductions in burning sensations and noticeably improved balance as nerve signal transmission improved with better sustained circulation. This matters with particular significance after 60. With age, calf muscle mass naturally diminishes while sedentary time increases. That combination systematically shuts down the very circulatory mechanism that nerve tissue depends on for its oxygen supply. Without a functioning calf pump, neuropathy will continue its progression without meaningful opposition from the body's own systems. Number 3, ankle rotations. Ankle rotations appear almost too gentle to produce any meaningful physiological change. But for nerve circulation after 60, this movement plays a genuinely critical supporting role that more vigorous exercises cannot fully replace. The ankle represents one of the most important circulatory junctions in the lower extremity. Multiple blood vessels converge and pass through this relatively narrow anatomical area. When the joint becomes restricted, stiff or chronically inactive blood flow through these vessels slows substantially. Ankle rotations restore controlled mobility and rhythmic movement to this junction. As the joint moves through smooth circular arcs, the surrounding muscles contract and release in a coordinated sequence, creating a subtle but consistent pumping effect that keeps blood moving toward nerve tissue rather than settling downward under gravity. To perform ankle rotations correctly, sit or lie comfortably with one leg gently extended. Slowly rotate your foot through a full circular motion, making the arc as smooth and controlled as possible. Move in one direction for 10 to 15 complete rotations, then deliberately reverse direction. The governing principle here is pace. Slow, deliberate rotations allow the muscles and blood vessels to respond fully and generate meaningful circulatory benefit. Faster movement significantly reduces the effectiveness of this exercise. Repeat on the opposite side. Research from Harvard Medical School has noted that even low-load ankle movements can significantly reduce blood pooling in older adults, particularly when distributed throughout the day rather than performed only in a single concentrated session. A brief practice in the morning, at midday, and in the evening consistently interrupts the circulatory decline that feeds neuropathy progression over time. We are approaching the top 2 exercises now, and this next one is considered by many specialists to be nearly as consequential as the number 1 movement on this list. Number 2, toe curls. This may genuinely surprise you, but toe curls address something that the vast majority of women managing neuropathy have completely overlooked throughout their experience of this condition. Your feet contain more nerve endings per square inch than virtually any other region of the body, with the exception of the hands. When you activate the small intrinsic muscles of the feet, you generate circulation precisely in the anatomical location where the highest concentration of damaged and struggling nerves exists. A 2024 study from the University of Michigan found that toe curls increased blood flow to peripheral nerve tissue by 41% more effectively than walking alone. The pumping action generated by these small foot muscles drives fresh oxygenated blood directly to the nerve tissue that is most in need of it. Here is the approach that specialists consistently recommend. Sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor, barefoot or in thin socks. Curl your toes downward as though you are attempting to grasp the floor surface with them. Hold this position for 5 seconds, focusing specifically on the contraction of the small foot muscles. Then release completely and allow the foot to fully relax. That constitutes 1 repetition. Begin with 10 repetitions per foot twice daily. What makes this exercise particularly effective is the specific mechanism it activates. When you curl your toes, you engage intrinsic foot muscles that have in many cases been functionally dormant for years. These muscles compress the tiny blood vessels within the foot, creating what physiologists describe as a milking action, physically expelling stagnant blood from the tissue and drawing fresh circulation in to replace it. Research from Johns Hopkins found that participants who performed toe curls twice daily for 12 weeks reported a 47% reduction in nighttime burning and tingling. Many described regaining the ability to feel textures beneath their feet, a sensory experience they had lost gradually without fully registering its absence until it returned. This exercise also progressively retrains the proprioceptors embedded in the feet, the specialized nerve endings responsible for transmitting real-time positional information to the brain. When these nerve endings function more effectively, balance improves measurably. Studies examining this effect report reductions in fall risk of up to 58%. Toe curls are powerful, but they do not hold the top position on this list. That belongs to a movement so consistently effective that vascular surgeons now describe it as non-negotiable for anyone managing neuropathy after 60. Before we reveal it, if you are finding this valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe. I release evidence-based senior health content every day that has the potential to meaningfully change your health trajectory. Number 1, toe spread and squeeze. This is the exercise that vascular surgeons are calling the single most important movement for neuropathy after 60. It is called the toe spread and squeeze. And when you understand the physiology behind it, the reason it holds the top position becomes entirely clear. This movement accomplishes something that no other exercise on this list can replicate. It activates up to 20 separate intrinsic foot muscles simultaneously, the small muscles located between the bones of the foot that standard exercises and ordinary daily activity never adequately engage. When these muscles contract in the specific spread-then-squeeze pattern, they generate the most powerful and comprehensive pumping action possible, precisely in the anatomical location where nerve damage is occurring and where improved circulation is most urgently needed. Research from Harvard Medical School's Department of Neurology found that the toe spread and squeeze increased blood flow to peripheral nerve tissue by 52%. Critically, that increase persisted for up to 90 minutes, following just 3 minutes of the exercise. Participants who performed this movement twice daily for 12 weeks showed measurable improvements in nerve conduction studies. The nerves were transmitting signals faster and more reliably, an outcome the research community had not anticipated from a non-pharmacological movement-based intervention. Here is how to perform it correctly. Sit comfortably in a chair with your feet flat on the floor, barefoot or wearing thin socks. Begin with your right foot. Keeping your heel in contact with the floor, spread your toes as wide apart as you possibly can. Focus deliberately on creating the maximum space between each individual toe. You should feel activation in the arch and ball of your foot in muscles you may not have consciously engaged before. Hold this spread position for 5 full seconds. Now squeeze your toes together and curl them downward as though you are attempting to grip the floor. Hold this squeeze position for 5 full seconds. You will feel a distinctly different set of muscles activating, creating a complete and comprehensive engagement pattern through the entire foot. Release and relax fully. That is 1 complete repetition. Begin with 10 repetitions per foot twice daily. You may experience cramping initially, particularly if these muscles have been largely inactive for an extended period. That cramping is not a warning signal. It is evidence that muscles which have not worked properly in years are being reactivated and challenged in a new way. The cramping will diminish consistently as strength and coordination develop over time. The Mayo Clinic tracked adults who performed this exercise consistently for 16 weeks. The outcomes were extraordinary. Participants reported a 61% reduction in nighttime burning and tingling. Numbness decreased by 47%. Fall incidence dropped by 58% as improved nerve function produced better balance and spatial awareness. But the finding that most significantly influenced the medical community's assessment of this exercise was the nerve conduction velocity data. Measurable improvement in nerve conduction was documented in 67% of participants. Before this study, most neurologists had operated on the assumption that conduction velocity in damaged peripheral nerves could not be meaningfully improved through exercise alone. This study challenged that assumption with direct and reproducible evidence. Once you complete the toe spread and squeeze, there is a straightforward way to extend and amplify the benefit. Combine it immediately with ankle pumps. Following your toe exercise, perform 20 ankle pumps. Research examining this specific combination found that it increased blood flow by 63% more than either exercise performed independently. Here is a realistic and honest timeline of what to expect as you begin this program with consistency. During the first 1 to 2 weeks, you will feel the muscles of your feet and lower legs working in ways that may feel unfamiliar and occasionally uncomfortable. Some women notice a reduction in nighttime cramping during this early phase. By weeks 3 to 4, burning sensations often begin to diminish in intensity and frequency. Many people also report improved sleep quality as nerve irritation begins to calm with consistent daily practice. Between weeks 5 and 8, tingling sensations tend to reduce noticeably. Some women begin to experience sensory awareness in their feet, texture sensitivity, and temperature perception that had been progressively absent for months or even years. Balance improvements may also begin to emerge during this phase. Between weeks 9 and 12, the most significant and meaningful changes typically occur. This is the period when many women report their most noticeable improvements in both nerve comfort and physical stability during everyday activities. So there you have it. 5 exercises ranked from helpful to essential for supporting peripheral nerve health after 60. And exercise number 1, the toe spread and squeeze, is the movement that produces the most significant and most measurable difference in the shortest consistent time frame. Now, I genuinely want to hear from you. Which of these 5 exercises are you going to begin today? And what has been the most frustrating aspect of living with neuropathy? The pain, the numbness, or the fear of further progression? Share your experience in the comments. I read every single one. And before you leave, do not miss the next video on your screen. A surgeon explains why one popular vitamin that many seniors take every single day can actually worsen poor leg circulation after 60, and what to take instead. If you care about keeping your legs strong, warm, and properly supplied with the blood your nerves depend on, watch that video next. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it is never too late to take meaningful control of your circulation and your nerve health. Your body responds to the attention and care you bring to it. Starting today, I am Dr. Lauren Hayes. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.